I used to think the way I grew up was just normal. The way things were, not good, not bad, just normal. And I had no idea how wrong I was until I left the country. Stay with me until the end of this video because I'm going to get to something that actually changed how I see myself, not just the world, and it's not what I expected travel to teach me. Hi, I'm Vienna. This is Wandering Vienna, a channel about travel and teen personal finance from a 14-year-old's perspective. My mom and I have visited over 20 countries across 5 continents on my school breaks. We are not rich. We did not go into debt to do this. My mom figured out how to make it work on her regular income, and I've been watching her do it for almost a decade. One of the biggest things travel gave me that I did not see coming was the ability to compare. Because when you've only seen one way of doing something, you don't even realize it's a choice. You think it's reality. That's what this video is about. When I was younger, I assumed the way we did things in America was standard. The way stores are laid out, whether strangers make eye contact on the street, how loud a restaurant is, what counts as a normal portion of food, what counts as a normal sized house. I thought all of that was just universal. The first time that got challenged was in Dublin. We got off the plane, and I remember seeing cars driving on the other side of the road. It was a small thing, but it hit me in a weird way because I already knew about it before we got there. I read about it, I understood it logically, but actually seeing it, standing on the sidewalk, watching it happen, is different. It was evidence that the things I took for granted didn't have to be the way they were. Someone decided this is how roads work here, and it works, and it's different, and both things are fine. That was the beginning of something I didn't even have a name for yet. Here's what I've noticed about traveling in different countries. You don't come back changed because of some big dramatic moment. You come back changed because you now have something to compare it against. Before I traveled, I didn't have a reference point, so I couldn't even ask the question, is this the only way? I just assumed yes, because it was all I'd ever seen. After traveling, even just a little, I started seeing things differently. Not better or worse, just with more information. Like the pace of life. In some places we visited, people eat slowly. Nobody is rushing. You sit down, take your time. The whole meal takes 2 hours. Nobody looks at their phone every 3 minutes. That just is how it is. In America, I feel like there's this constant pressure to be efficient, to move fast, not to waste time. And I never questioned it before because it was all I knew. But once I had something to compare it to, I couldn't unsee it. A few specific things travel showed me, not to say America is wrong, just to show you what I mean about comparison being the whole point. Food. In a lot of countries, food is local, almost by default. You eat what grows nearby, what's in season, what was made that morning. In some places we visited, the market is just how it's done, not a backup option. In America, I can get strawberries in December. I can get a mango in Ohio. And I've never once thought about how unusual that is until I saw what it looks like when food doesn't work that way. Space. Americans have a lot of it. Big houses, big cars, big portions. And then you go somewhere with tiny apartments, tiny streets, and everyone seems fine. More than fine, actually. People are outside, they're walking, they're around each other, and you think, what does all that space actually give us? Time. In some places, being 15 minutes late isn't even considered late. Plans are flexible, schedules are loose, people don't seem stressed about it. I'm not saying one way is better, but I am saying I couldn't even notice it before, but now I had something to compare it to. Here's what I want you to think about. If you've only ever seen one way of living, one set of assumptions about how money works, how time works, how success looks, you can't question it. You don't even know it's a choice. That's not your fault. That's just how it is when you only have one data point. Travel gives you more data points, more examples. People talk about travel like it's about seeing beautiful places, and it is, but it's also about what happens when you come back. You come back slightly different, not because you changed, but because you finally have something to compare to. My mom understood this before I did. She didn't just want to take me to other countries to check boxes off our list. She wanted me to see that the way we live is a choice, that other ways exist and they work and they're real. Once you see that, it gives you something that's hard to get in any other way, options in your head before you even make a decision about anything. This is actually at the core of what FATE is: financial awareness, travel early. The word awareness is in there on purpose because you can't make a good decision without something you've never questioned. If you think the way most people handle money is just normal and you've only ever seen it in one model, you're going to follow that model without thinking about it. And one day you'll look up and wonder, where did everything go? My mom didn't just teach me to track spending and look for flight deals. She taught me to question what I assumed was just the way things are, to ask if there's another way. Those are different questions. And asking the second one changes things. So here's what I promised at the beginning. The thing travel taught me that I didn't expect wasn't a place or landmark or story I've collected. It was the moment I realized I had been living inside one lens my whole life without knowing it was a lens. And that realization is something you can't unfeel. Once you see that your normal isn't everyone's normal, that choices are choices, not just the way things are, you start to make decisions differently. You question more. You stay curious instead of assuming. That's the real gift. Not the passport stamps, the lens. If this shifted something for you, even a little, that's exactly what this channel is for. There are videos here about how we afford to travel, how my mom built a system from scratch, and what fate actually looks like in practice. Start wherever makes sense for you. Subscribe if you want to keep going. New videos come out regularly, and every single one is built around something real. I'm Vienna, this is Wandering Vienna, and there's always more to explore. Bye!